Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter.
I'm going to be honest, I think it's the question that he minds. I think it's the question that he minds outside of the attitude. I think the question he definitely minds. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, nope, you mind the question. You don't like the attitude, but you mind the question for sure, especially in front of MBS. I mean, these are two buddies of Jeffrey Jedediah Epstein, okay?
The bill to release.
Let's get to the House and the Senate. House has voted to overwhelmingly pass the release of the Epstein files, but there's obviously going to be a couple different catches here. But the House and the Senate have unanimously voted. Let's take a look at the House first, and then we'll look at...
Epstein files could be on President
You know what?
Trump's
Actually,
desk.
let's do it.
Back with some breaking news in our politics lead, a major update on that Senate vote to release the Epstein files. Let's get right to CNN's Manu Raju on Capitol Hill. Manu, we didn't even know if the Senate was going to take up the Epstein files bill. What is playing out right now?
Yeah, just a couple weeks ago, it seemed like this bill was dead on arrival. Just a few days ago, it seemed like it was dead on arrival in the United States Senate. But now it is on its way to the president's desk in a remarkable turnaround, in an extremely fast move here. The Senate has essentially green-lighted this bill to be approved as soon as tonight and be sent to the president's desk. Now, essentially what happened was that in the aftermath of this House vote this afternoon, 427-1, just one member of the entire United States House voting against it. This is now on its way to the Senate. Now, there has not been a formal process. It has to be formally sent over to the United States Senate. That process was to take some time to get through the official writing of getting the bill over across the Capitol. It's an arcane process. But once it gets over to the United States Senate, that's when the bill can be read in the Senate and essentially passed. So what we just saw moments ago was Chuck Schumer, the Senate Democratic leader. He went to the floor of the United States Senate and he said, he asked for what's known in the Senate as unanimous consent. That means that all 100 senators have to agree, or one senator could object and slow things down. He asked unanimous consent that for when the Senate receives the final paperwork of the bill that just passed the United States House, that it would be approved by the United States Senate. Nobody objected to that, Jake. So what that means is that as soon as it's formally transmitted, this bill is formally transmitted from the House to the Senate will essentially have it approved. It will be approved in their chamber. There does not need to be a roll call vote. And then it will go to the president's desk for his signature, in which the president has indicated that he will sign, despite fighting this for months, despite the efforts by the Republican leaders, particularly in the House, to try to deny its vote. Ultimately, the president capitulated, said that he believed that the House Republicans should vote for it because dozens were already planning to buck him. And the Speaker of the House, who did not want this bill to come to the floor, ultimately voted yes, which has been a remarkable turnaround, pushed by a handful of members in the House of Representatives, pushing the leadership, circumventing the leadership, forcing this on the floor, ultimately getting the leadership behind this, and now through the Senate in a blink of an eye, and now onto the president's desk. And within 30 days, when this becomes law, Jake, that's when the Justice Department will have to comply to release the files, the Epstein files. And if it does not comply for whatever reason, it has to explain why. But right now, a remarkable moment as the Senate greenlights passage of this bill that has dogged the House in particular over the last several months.
Joining us now, Democratic Congressman of Illinois, Raja Krishnamurthy. He sits on the House Oversight and Intelligence Committees. Congressman, thanks very much for being here. The Oversight Committee, of course, has put out some of these new revelations from Jeffrey Epstein's estate. But I want to start with what this bill would do, which is to force the release of the files from the Department of Justice. And I think my top question for you is, do you trust what the DOJ will be forced to put out? Are you confident that you can trust what you see?
Not yet. I think that there's going to be a lot of pressure, however, from not only Democrats, but Republicans, members of the MAGA base, and others to release the files in full. One of the things I'm concerned about is an effort to maybe amend this particular bill to be able to have
30 days, this stinks. Everything about this stinks. Okay, I got different teas. Sharpie stock's going crazy right now. Yeah. I'm drinking both coffee and tea. Making tea instead of pounding cold brews? Yeah. We got lemongrass and ginger, zesty and warming. English breakfast, rich and robust. Yellow gold, energizing and refreshing. What are we thinking? You must be missing your chair at home? Yes. Mix them and make a dirty tea? I think I'm going to go with yellow gold. Or lemongrass? Okay, I'll do lemongrass and ginger. Well, jasmine pearl, sweet and aromatic. What, no baiju this morning? No baiju. Okay, I'm going to go with jasmine pearl. I had to clean this thing out first, right? You got to take the loose teas out. I heard you say dirty. Oh, this is like, these tea leaves are not loose. They're bundled up. My mom says you're never coming back. Your mom is right. Jasmine pearls are green tea balls. Okay. Hold on. I'm not even a big tea drinker. I don't know what the f gotten over me, you know? Okay. There we go. Hold on. Here it is. And then we wait. Dude, look at that. I have my... I got my time right here. I'm China maxing so hard. Do Turks call tea chai? Yes. Yes, we do. Yeah, I got my hourglass. Tea noob setup. Tea bag can be used 4 times, bro. Bring that tea game back to don't boil that nettle for too long. Oh. Brew for like 2 to 3 minutes. No, I know. They say brew for 3 minutes. Why use that sand thing instead of your phone? I don't know. Because it's cool. Because I like it. Because I'm China maxing. What is wrong with you? Someone's always got to be hating out here, bro. What the hell? Anyway, let's continue.
The greater ability to redact names and information, which I hear is an amendment that some Republicans want to do. And I think that will just invite monkey business, and we can't have that. I think they should just take up the bill as it is, get it signed.
Yeah, that's the... Do you guys understand? The fine print, baby. The fine print. The Epstein files legislation clearly says, quote, the Attorney General may withhold or redact any material that would jeopardize an active investigation into national security. Remember when I told you this? I told you this a couple days ago when, or as soon as Donald Trump said, oh yeah, we should release the Epstein files. Right after he said the DOJ should launch an active investigation into the Epstein files, specifically as it pertains to the Democrats that are involved with the Epstein saga. I told you that he was going to use the active investigation in the same way that he did his tax releases, his tax return release, that he would not allow any information to come out on the grounds of national security. So it'll just be a heavily redacted document that will most likely protect a lot of the powerful Democratic allies as well. Probably a little bit of red meat for the base, though. You have to give him a little bit of red meat, but maybe not even Bill Clinton, honestly.
Pass and sign into law and then release the files.
Do you, at this point, have reason to believe that there is more information in these files that DOJ has or in additional files from the Epstein estate about President Trump?
I think so. Basically, some of the files that we have right now have emails, which you are well aware of, that make reference to certain aspects of Donald Trump and his relationship to Jeffrey Epstein, but we don't necessarily understand the context. And so we're left wondering, okay, well, what else is in the files that could explain that? But if I could just step back for a second, I think the real reason why this passed with such a huge vote.
Isn't there still the mutual pedophile destruction thing in play? Yeah, that's why I'm saying he's probably not going to go after any high level enough people. But he does have this need to offer red meat to the base, who is demanding information, demanding transparency. So even if he gives up names of high profile Democrats, they won't be super high profile Democrats. You know what I mean? At most, it'll be someone who it'll be someone who can basically fall on the sword. Something to offer a little bit of red meat to the base, but someone that isn't as connected and as high up. Someone isn't as connected and as high up as like a Bill Clinton. Someone who isn't a load-bearing figure of American politics, such as Bill Clinton or other people like that. But who knows? Maybe Trump is willing to play that dangerous game.
The House is because of the survivors and the victims of the child sex trafficking ring. I got to tell you, I met with them for 3 hours along with a group of bipartisan members of the Oversight Committee. I think that meeting helped to stiffen the resolve of people that we have to do justice by them. We have to make sure that they're able to see these files, which in many cases detail trauma and abuse that they've long forgotten because of that abuse. And so to do justice to them and to prevent this from ever happening again, I think there's a real desire to release the files and then hold people accountable.
Yeah, no, it's very important.
I've stolen the phrase load-bearing pedophile from you, and my friends hate me for it. Good. Well, it's not good that your friends hate you for it, but it's good that you're using that term. That's the reason why I say the things that I say on this broadcast, so you take them and you sound smart to your friends and confident and cool and funny. Okay? That's the point.
Conversation later in the hour with Gloria Allred specifically about those experiences. If you, in the committee, receive more information that also implicates Democrats, I mean, some of the revelations from the files that you all put out have resulted in Larry Summers, a longtime Democratic official, stepping back from a number of his public roles because of what was exposed. Are you committed to putting those emails out no matter what?
Absolutely. Nobody should be spared scrutiny as part of this particular investigation. I think that at this point, whoever emerges as having been implicated needs to be held accountable. And
when do you think the public can expect to see more from Jeffrey Epstein's estate? I mean, we heard from Robert Garcia last night that there is another expected release coming.
Yeah, I think that they're going to produce it on a rolling basis. And so it could literally be any time. That being said, my hope, one issue that maybe hasn't come up is that, the president could release these files of his own volition today. He doesn't have to wait for this legislation to pass the Senate and get signed into law. He could release it today. And so that's something that I and others are also pressing for as well in response to our own subpoena from the Oversight Committee.
Let's discuss what's going on here with Miami Herald investigative reporter Julie K. Brown. Just a reminder, her reporting in 2017 and 2018 exposed so many of these horrific details of Epstein's alleged sex trafficking ring. She's also the author of a great book I recommend, Perversion of Justice, the Jeffrey Epstein Story. Julie, welcome back to the show. So hours before bringing the Epstein vote to the House floor today, Speaker Mike Johnson said this. Take a listen.
The Democrats had every one of the Epstein files in their possession for the 4 long years of the Biden administration.
Busy teacher here. I haven't been following this super close. Is there a reason why these documents are being released by the estate in chunks instead of all at once? I'm actually not. I don't fully comprehend why the estate is releasing some of these documents in chunks. Maybe because they want to attack Trump or cause a stir. I think the estate's position is that Donald Trump killed Jeffrey Epstein. Or not Donald Trump, but like the government killed Jeffrey Epstein, and that Jeffrey Epstein didn't commit suicide. So I suspect that plays a role in it. So they realize that, like, if they release more of this stuff, there's more controversy surrounding it, and the more controversy that surrounds it, the more people are, oh shit. The more people are invested in it. Ooh, it's piping hot. Jasmine tea, piping hot jasmine tea. Yeah, keeping it in the news, basically. Like that's a reason, I think. The House Oversight Committee subpoenaed the real estate, yeah. Or not the real estate, the Jeffrey Epstein estate, yes. But there's also the other side of the story, which is like the Jeffrey Epstein vacation emails. And what's interesting about the Jeffrey Epstein vacation emails is that they were already hacked. Jasmine tea should not be boiling. It will make the flavor too bitter. Don't burn the table. Hasan, you should look to get a tea pet for your tea era. What's a tea pet? The Jeffrey Epstein vacation emails that you are seeing a lot of like that you're seeing in the backseating tea pet to pour the rinse. I don't know what that is. Anyway, listen. Let's just talk about this thing that we need to talk about right now. You need a variable temp kettle for your teas. Guys, I'm not becoming a tea guy. Tea pets are adorable little companions you share your tea with. Okay, please, can we just lock in, please? Okay, now I'm going to look at this guy knows his stuff. He's a huge China boo. I mean, yeah. You drink and wash, bro? Yeah, it's crazy that tea people are just as insane as coffee people are. So cheers to that, I guess. Ooh, I like the jasmine. I will never again drink tea. Should members of Congress play games with their retirement announcements in order to handpick their successors instead of letting voters choose? No, but with democracy under threat, it is not time to point this out. Wow, this has touched a nerve. I'm sorry, but after a lifetime of public service, we owe our elected leaders gratitude and loyalty, which many of you seem to have forgotten. It's sad. I know he's joking. I know. I'm not getting baited. I know he's joking. He's making a joke about the common Democratic trope, which is always this attitude that now is not the time. Now is not the time. Now is not the time. Let us do whatever the we want to do. Why are you drinking tea so performative? Brother, I can't even drink bevs without coming up my ass, dude. What are we doing? What are we doing? What the dude? Can a man enjoy things? Can a man start doing shit different God damn. It's just tea, man. It's just tea. The reason why I'm drinking it is because I've been slamming coffees non-stop. And tea has caffeine in it too. And I thought to myself, maybe it's a little bit lighter. Maybe it's a little bit better because I've been drinking like 8 coffees every goddamn morning. 8 to 9 coffees every goddamn morning. Also, it's there's not any more K-Cups. I already slammed all 4 of the K-Cups that were in the room. And I still need caffeine. As a man, why are you drinking tea? That's a female trait. Yeah, well, I guess I'm a woman now, you know? That's such a damn good Twitch name. Performative tea drinker. Yeah, that's me. Drinking tea performatively instead of gaming, shaking my damn head. I like the jasmine. A man can enjoy bevs, but the man has to let some chats go by first. True. John Lovett was also making a joke about this because a remarkable scene on the House floor. After the House rejects a Democratic motion to table the resolution condemning Representative Chuy Garcia, Republicans have largely left the floor. Democrats are left by themselves debating and squabbling over the motion. You should go to a tea ceremony. I think we might do that. Hasan drinking tea right now. Okay, I'm non-binary now. This shit's getting crazy. Yeah, why are you as a man drinking lemonade? That's me, man. Yeah. I'm they, them. The f*** is this? I'm done. I'm done with this male shit. Can a man enjoy a cup of jasmine tea, bro? That's why I stopped drinking tea. Too many sweats. Yeah. I drink half a gallon of tea a day. Does that make me super feminine or super masculine woman? Yeah, HRT, baby. That's what it is. That's the type of tea I'm drinking. AOC on Chuy Garcia. This is how I feel about it. I loathe machine politics and got to office defeating an incumbent who got in that way. However, there are quite a few problems with choosing to grind the entire House to a halt to force all 435 members across the country to do a rushed vote on this one individual instance, of many, mind you. 1, why is it that this objection wasn't brought up until now? The author had no problem with the bill when Bill Posey did it, or even earlier this year when a member's account was tweeting post-mortem for an election. The standard of this resolution is unevenly applied, and choosing to enforce it via privileged resolution for some but not others does open legitimate questions of rationale or motivation. Why not care about this from them but care about it now? The question has not been answered. This is why the Ethics Committee exists. Establishing the process of precedent will mean all 435 members of the House will be forced to vote on a slew of individual member indiscretions determined by political convenience of whoever is in the majority. I do not think it's the best use of my constituents' time to sort through the details of every individual matter of a person acting out in accordance with the esteem of the office once a week for a floor vote under rushed circumstances. The House has an investigatory structure for this reason. If there was a complaint filled with ethics or an investigation buried and then ignored, I'd understand, but that's not the case here. These specific kinds of resolutions can only be executed on a partisan basis because the mechanism of seeking privilege on this can only move forward with GOP leadership's blessing. That means partisan enforcement, and I do not want to open the door to that. Make it nonpartisan or don't bother. That's why the Ethics Committee is structured the way it is. Number 4, this resolution was dropped on a fly-out day to begin with. This resolution was dropped on a fly-out day to begin voting on a fly-in day, giving people no time to review the details on the matter while they are home in district on a weekend. On a matter of local politics that nobody had familiarity with, people are genuinely not familiar with the details of the surprise vote because this is the kind of thing brought to ethics precisely to investigate and confirm details. Yes, given Garcia's health and family circumstances, his last-minute decision to retire is totally understandable, but the moment he told his chief of staff should have been the moment he told everyone else. If she had enough advance notice to gather a few thousand signatures, another candidate could have done the same. It's bullshit to pretend that's not true and bullshit to criticize MGP for pointing that out. The Jake Tappers of the world are saying that Chuy Garcia's office is circulating talking points about his controversial decision to suddenly retire as he faces a possible formal House rebuke led by a fellow Democrat. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Chuy Garcia waited until the primary date passed and named his chief of staff as the successor to his seat. Okay? Was it unnecessary and weirdly timed grandstanding by MGP? Yes. But these types of arguments would carry a lot more water if you said what Representative Garcia did denies his district voters a choice in their representation instead of just obliquely saying, I loathe machine politics. Getting more worked up about what MGP did than what Garcia did is frankly ridiculous. This is some serious gaslighting. No one is criticizing Garcia for retiring. The issue is that he announced his retirement after the deadline was closed and his chief of staff had been tipped off and filed the paperwork to be the only candidate on the Dem ballot within a D17 congressional district. I work in D.C. Chuy Garcia has always hated being a congressman. What he really wants is Chicago mayor. That's so funny that he just wanted to be, he wanted the worst job of all time. I don't know who MGP is. Marie Gluesenkamp Perez, a problem solver, one of my least favorite Democratic congresspersons because she is, she's just an incredible nuisance. She is just one of those like Joe Manchin style. You don't want to know her? No, I do know her. I talk about her all the time. The only reason this is a story is because the independent that is running for the seat are a centrist ally to Perez. Perez, not Perez. Okay. Perez. Yeah. Representative Chuy Garcia has denied purposely clearing a path for his chief of staff to take a seat without facing a primary, but a document filed with Illinois elections officials shows he was the first to sign her nominating petitions days before he announced his retirement. Perez. All right, whatever. I don't care. That's fine. Anyway, this is like process drama, and it is, you know, it is undemocratic. I hate to defend one of the worst congresspersons in the Democratic caucus, Marie Gluesenkamp Perez, but like it is kind of f***ed up and not exactly democratic to do this. Okay. But the reason why she's making a bigger issue out of this and not making a bigger issue out of it in the past is because she has her own personal ambitions here, okay? Doesn't pass the smell test at all. No, like every part of this is just like political machine, the political machine working in the ways that it normally does, okay? That's all that's going on here is Chuy Garcia also doing the exact same type of corruption that we despise. Okay, as a more progressive member of the Democratic Party's caucus, or the progressive side, the progressive wing of the party, and the centrist right adjacent, right aligned Democrat Marie Gluesenkamp Perez making a big fuss about it. The reason why I don't like it personally is because this kind of technique could be applied by different older establishment Democrat members against possible primary opponents, DSA aligned primary opponents in the future. So we shouldn't let it manifest. Even though Chuy Garcia is progressive, okay, what you need to understand is, I mean, this will be used against the Democratic Socialist wing of the party. There are a lot of old, calcified, institutional Democrats that are aching to retire or possibly on the verge of death. And that is part of the reason why I could totally see a bunch of establishment slots getting replaced by other younger establishment candidates within the staff of said older establishment Democrats in this exact same undemocratic way to try and stop a real democratic process from taking place in a primary structure. Yeah, retire from living. Exactly. If it were up to me, MGP would be censured over this self-indulgence performance art. She does not give a shit about democracy, and she's burning valuable bandwidth, shanking her party's brand to pump some attention for herself, and nobody's being honest about this at all. Yeah. I mean, there's truth to it. Yes, MGP is a disgusting little snake. Can you wear your fun hate when you go out? My fun hate? You mean the red panda hat? Yes, I will wear my fun hate. Did you lemon bro your hotel too? No, the lighting in this room is very yellow and like very low. It's like kind of dim. And I think it's because Chengdu is chill. And the lighting, the guy when he walked me into my room said like the lighting in this room is supposed to be chill. It's supposed to be chill vibes, which is why I'm also drinking tea because it's all chill vibes. Anyway, let's get back to, yeah. This Chengdu hotel is yellow for a great reason. All right, let's get back to the
The
Epstein
Biden
stuff now.
Department of Justice had the files the entire time. And not a single one of the people who are so loud and animated right now, they never said anything about it for all those 4 years.
Is that accurate?
Well, it's not only inaccurate, it's ridiculous. I mean, the case was an open criminal investigation during the Biden administration. They were pursuing charges against Ghislaine Maxwell, as we know. They obtained a conviction, and after that, she appealed. You cannot open up your criminal case files when a case is still open, and by being under appeal, the case still remained open. Also, by the way, we really don't know to what extent they were still trying to hold other people accountable in this case. They obtained a lot more information in the past couple of years from new victims who have come forward, and they may very well have still been investigating other possible charges against other possible people who were involved. It always kind of surprised me that one of the things the Trump administration never said when they came into office, or never mentioned whether the case was still an open investigation or a closed one. And so we're still left wondering what kind of case they were building possibly against some of these other wealthy and powerful people who were involved with Epstein.
On Monday, President Trump said that he would sign the Epstein bill if the Senate passes it. In the current legislation, Attorney General Pam Bondi has the right to withhold or redact any information that would, quote, jeopardize an active federal investigation or ongoing prosecution, unquote. Are you at all concerned that this vote might only be symbolic because President Trump last week...
Here's my fun hate. Do you think the Epstein files are going to be even more redacted than what we've gotten already? Getting the files at all is a win, but level of interference? Yes, there is no world where we see the full files, okay? Chad is attacking Julie Brown over her voice. They need to chill and understand her significance of the story. Julie Brown is the reason why Jeffrey Epstein went back to prison. Okay? She is an incredibly important investigative reporter, and her work at the Miami Herald is the reason why the Jeffrey Epstein saga reopened. Okay? Put some respect on it.
Or the Justice Department to investigate Epstein's ties with high-profile figures who are Democrats.
I'm not only concerned because of that, of course, now they're going to use it's an open investigation card to probably hold back material. But I'm also, quite frankly, concerned about the way this case has been handled from the very beginning with all these FBI agents. The New York Times reported that they were combing through these files. We had the leak of a member of the Justice Department say on camera that they were purposefully redacting the names of key Republican figures from these files. So there's going to be a lot of questions about how solid these files are when they are released. I felt that part of the Speaker's remarks today was an effort to sort of remind people that there's going to be things in here that they're not going to release. So he was sort of setting the stage, I think, for heavy redactions where we're going to see pages and pages of things that have 5 words on them and the rest of the page is going to be redacted. That's the way the FBI files right now look, and there's no reason for them to do those kinds of heavy redactions.
Julie K. Brown, thank you so much, and thank you for your journalism, as always. We really appreciate it.
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
It's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask.
Oh my God. Except she says, oh no, the Republicans might use an ongoing investigation to suppress the files, and then also says, well, no, of course the Democrats couldn't have released anything for 4 years because of the investigation. She seems a bit blinded by partisanship considering how obviously prominent Democrats are also involved. Surely. I think that doesn't take away from her actual work though. So you can't discount her work regardless. The point is, Julie K. Brown is the GOAT when it comes to the Epstein investigation. Yes, I did see Donald Trump call a reporter a piggy. I think we watched it together. But I think the investigation that she was talking about was potentially the Ghislaine Maxwell one. Piggy clip, if you need it.
Is there something incriminating in the file, sir? What did Jeffrey...
I don't know why he said quiet piggy. Is her name like Peggy or something? Like, what is that? Did he just have like a crazy moment? Because I feel like he has terms that he uses, right? He has terms that he uses regularly. Like he'll say like someone died like a dog. This is like a dog, blah, 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 all this shit. But like, I've never heard him refer to a person as piggy. Like, and I don't know if it's because like he was, fat shaming her or something. Like he was just calling her fat. It's just new is what I'm saying. It's a new Trumpism. Miss Piggy is on Air Force One. He's a misogynist. He hates women, and he was making a fat joke, even though he is fat. I mean, he said Rosie O'Donnell is a fat pig, and everything you said is correct. But I don't know. I haven't heard him say piggy ever. Like call someone a piggy ever.
Did you read his emails that you said you knew about the girls?
I know nothing about that. They would have announced that a long time ago. It's really what did he mean when he spent all the time with Bill Clinton, with the president of Harvard, Larry Summers, whatever his name is, and all of the other people that he spent time with. Jeffrey Epstein and I had a very bad relationship for many years. But he also saw strike because I was president. So he dictated a couple of memos to himself. Give me a break. You're going to find out what did he know with respect to Bill Clinton, with respect to the head of Harvard, with respect to all of those people that he knew, including J.P. Morgan checks. Yeah, Jennifer, go ahead.
Incriminating in the file, sir?
Quiet.
That's such a crazy, like, quiet piggy is so wild. Not a very presidential moment from him. Then again, he is never really presidential, if we're being honest. Majority Report talked about it today, and he calls her piggy. It's breaking seam and showing his frustration. Yeah, I feel like he's just using new metas here. He's getting like more disrespectful than before, and it could be because his mental faculties are deteriorating. You do get more aggressive as your dementia worsens. Maybe that's part of it. I mean, we'll see. Alicia Mikado, ex-Miss Universe, claims Trump called her Miss Piggy. Dude, fat shaming a Miss Universe is perhaps the gayish trait of Donald Trump. That is the most insane thing I have ever. That is like, I do not think that a straight man under any circumstance is capable of that level, that kind of attitude. You're like a old school mean gay. Oh, and the White House is defending it. The White House is standing by Trump. Trump's calling a reporter piggy. A White House official tells MS Now News the reporter behaved in an inappropriate and unprofessional way towards her colleagues on the plane. If you're going to give it, you have to be able to take. That's wild. No straight dudes absolutely do that with women regardless of attractive level. We shouldn't be fat shaming anyone, period. You're overestimating straight men? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Epstein survivor. We're hearing the administration say they intend to investigate various Democrats who were friends with Epstein. I beg you, President Trump, please stop making this political. It's not about you, President Trump. Show some class. I voted for you, but your behavior on this issue is a national embarrassment.
It is also...
Dude, it's crazy that so many... Have you met incels? That's true. Incels are incels, though. They don't even... I feel like they're off the sexuality spectrum at this point because of their hyper misogyny. Like, there's degrees to it.
not a hoax. We are here as American survivors of a man who used his wealth and power to hurt young girls and women. The world should see the files to know who Jeffrey Epstein was and how the system catered to him and failed us. Emotionally, this process has been distressing. First,
it's crazy that, like, I can't get over the Miss Piggy thing. Oh my God. It's crazy that he blew up on her because she was doing her job. As a reporter on Air Force One, as a part of the press pool, her job is to literally ask questions to the president. I cannot get over it. And then the White House defended it like, she was being mean. It's like, she was being mean. She was doing her job. What do you mean she was being mean? Yeah, this is the person who he called a piggy. I just don't understand it. Like, you can't do a, you can't do a, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen thing when defending the most thin-skinned president of all time. It's like, okay, right back at you, buddy. If you can't be the president, then stop being the president. Like, what are you talking about? Conduct yourself a little bit better, asshole. Did you find the pouches in China or bring them? No, I brought them, and I'm running out, and I don't know what I'm going to do when I run out. I brought so many, and I've just burned through them, dude. They have crazy nicotine tech in China. You can vape cigarettes. Yeah, I don't want to vape cigarettes. Other reporters are saying she's just good at her job. Yeah, I've looked up Catherine Lucy since... I've looked up to Catherine Lucy since I was a Cub reporter and she was a queen of the Philadelphia City Hall press corps. She always has been fearless, fair, and great at asking questions. Start smoking like a real man? Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
the administration said it would release everything and then applauded President Trump for that. Then it fought to release nothing. Now that checks and balances of our democracy have worked and the bill is getting passed to release the files, we are hearing the administration say they intend to investigate various Democrats who were friends with Epstein. I beg you, President Trump, please stop making this political. It is not about you, President Trump. You are our president. Please start acting like it. Show some class, show some real leadership, show that you actually care about the people other than yourself. I voted for you, but your behavior on this issue has been a national embarrassment. It is time to take the honest, moral ground and support the release of these files, not to weaponize pieces of the files against random political enemies that did nothing wrong, but to
But it is about Trump, just not in the way she wants. I mean, these are victims at the end of the day. I mean, they voted for him. Yes, they did. A lot of Jeffrey Epstein victims voted for Donald Trump. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me what the f is going on there. I don't understand it. It is what it is, okay? It doesn't take away from their victimhood in this situation. A lot of victims voted for Donald Trump. I mean, remember, Jeffrey Epstein operated in Florida. Jeffrey Epstein operated in Florida, in the state of Florida. These are Floridians. Okay? Do with that information what you will, but they are Floridians. Because he promised them justice? Nah, I don't think that's the reason. No, I think it's because they're Floridians. I mean, they're still people. And people have the capacity to make stupid decisions, especially with their votes. I think it's just because they're Floridian. Motherfucker literally campaigned on releasing the files. The fuck are we talking about? Sure. That could definitely be a consideration.
Understand who Epstein's friends were, who covered for him, what financial institutions allowed his trafficking to continue, who knew what he was doing, but was too much of a coward to do anything about it.
Anyway, here's another Trump insanity moment. Donald Trump gets asked about Jeffrey Epstein while he's hanging out with another Jeffrey Epstein affiliate, Mohammed bin Salman, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Now, this makes the back and forth even more interesting. I don't care if MSM says he campaigned on it, but I think in this community we need to be accurate and say he did not himself campaign on it. The closest example is the Fox interview that was edited on JD on a podcast. Yes, he was definitely a lot more. He was definitely a lot more restrained about releasing the Epstein files than some of his other counterparts that were campaigning alongside him. Let's be real on that. He definitely was not making that the centerpiece of his campaign. He even was a little bit he was a little bit restrained on that front, where he would say stuff like, well, you know, the Kennedy files, sure, 9/11, sure, but Jeffrey Epstein, not so much. A lot of innocents are, if you remember, he famously said, a lot of innocents could also go down in the Jeffrey Epstein situation. And of course, what he meant when he said that was himself, which we know now. When he said a lot of innocents or a lot of other people could be tangled with the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, he actually was talking about himself, dude. He just wants to protect his Bubba. Come on. True.
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter.
I'm going to be honest. I think it's the question that he minds. Okay? I think it's the question that he minds outside of the attitude. I think the question he definitely minds. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, nope, you mind the question. You don't like the attitude, but you mind the question for sure, especially in front of MBS. I mean, these are two buddies of Jeffrey Jedediah Epstein, okay? Remember, will we ever get LA streams again? No. All streams going forward are going to be from the glorious People's Republic of China.
It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person.
Look at the face of this reporter. Look.
Psych.
Look.
You're a terrible person.
You're like, awkward.
And a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. But I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton.
Dude. That's Bubba, bro. Chill. He's mad because this journal also questioned MBS being in the White House right before this. Reporter, Your Royal Highness, U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you're here in the Oval Office. Who are you with? I'm with ABC News. Fake news. As far as the gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. 9/11, he did it, and it was good. His family did it. Maybe not him. He was young. He was younger back then. Couldn't have been a mastermind unless... He is brilliant. He is brilliant, very brilliant young mind. Maybe he conducted 9/11 as well. Nobody knows, but if he did it, it was the best 9/11 anyone's ever done.
Murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. Why should Americans trust you? And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news. ABC fake news. One of the worst in the business. But I'll answer your question. I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually. I'm sure they could do a lot. And anything they've done has been very good. That's what we've done. We've built a tremendous business for a long time.
Yeah, you know what else is tremendous business? 9/11 made the Trump Tower the tallest tower on Wall Street after 9/11. That's right. I want to shake your hand. Mr. Crown Prince, want to shake your hand. That wasn't even the question. What the question is he answering here? Yeah, I don't think you were involved in 9/11, man. Even though you did immediately do a radio show on the morning of 9/11, and he did unironically say on the morning of 9/11, chatters, while the dust had not even been settled yet, well, now, you know, silver lining. Now the tallest tower in Wall Street is now the Trump Tower. Believe it. That's right. He did do that. He did say that. Love how you're the most controversial 9/11 guy over this shit. Lamau, we're so cooked. Yeah. Like, it's kind of crazy, especially with like, how shameless it was, because like you can see the like live footage of the smoldering building in the background.
We're successful. I decided to leave that success behind and make America very successful. And I've made America more successful by far than it ever was, and that it ever could have been, no matter who was president. There would be nobody bringing in $21 trillion.
Oh, she asked about Saudi's business dealings with Trump. Okay.
That I can tell you right now. As far as this gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen, but he knew nothing about it.
Brother, that is nutty. It's so over. It's so over. Yeah, Trump, the 9/11 families, lol. We don't care about you, lol. MBS, here is $1 trillion. He said, the 9/11 families, we don't care about you, lol. Also, Jamal Khashoggi, he was very controversial. Okay, very controversial. He died like a dog. But this gentleman right next to me didn't have anything to do with it, even though all evidence points to him actually directing the assassination. And maybe even the methods of dealing with the body. Who knows? But if he was dealing with the body, he dealt with it so perfectly. Has the best methods of dealing with the body. Believe it, folks.
And we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
It's just you ask, Mr. President, allow me to answer. You know, I feel painful about, you know, the families of 9/11 in America, but, you know.
Would you like a tea?
No, I just had coffee. I'm good.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't the Crown Prince fund the Bin Laden family? The Saudi royal family did fund the Bin Laden family, and certainly did fund Osama bin Laden directly, leading up to 9/11, as a matter of fact, which is part of the reason why all of these people are very frustrated about, you know, the Crown Prince visiting the White House, the 9/11 family specifically. Now, of course, as I am no stranger to the 9/11 discourse, this is something that I talk about quite a bit. 9/11 is simply weaponized against the likes of people like myself, people like Zoran, while simultaneously the people that are actually responsible for 9/11, the victims are always cast aside. Nobody gives a shit about them, especially those in positions of power. The first responders barely got their medical care covered 15 years after the fact. Okay? And it's only used as a talking point. Like, if you, from the perspective of like the average American reactionary, somehow myself and Zoran Mamdani are more responsible for 9/11 than the Crown Prince and the royal family is. Okay, this is just how it goes, baby. This is how it goes. 9/11 is just a talking point for these people. I mean, if you can't comprehend that, I don't know what to tell you. Hasan, there's a thief behind you? Yeah. Is it really, really cold? It took Jon Stewart raising hell for the first responders to get health care. Shameful? Yeah. They even had the Syrian president over last week. Yeah. I mean, Brian Mast, whose legs were literally blown up by an IED, was standing next to Jolani, the guy who was, you know, responsible for the IEDs. It's just how it is in America. This is how it goes.
To answer, you know, I feel painful about, you know, the families of 9/11 in America, but, you know, we have to focus on reality.
You can pull it.
Based on CIA documents and based on a lot of documents that Osama bin Laden used Saudi people in that event for one main purpose, is to destroy this relation.
What? The streaming microphone?
Streaming iPhone.
Oh, it's not charged?
75%.
Oh. Yeah. By the way, why is no one asking why MBS is not wearing a suit? Yeah, because it's not Zelensky. He's giving $1 trillion to the United States of America and not a role reversal. You can pull it, Bubba to Trump. Oh, that's funny. It's so funny. He said, I feel painful about the families of 9/11, but like, you know, $1 trillion. Come on, shut the f up.
Bin Laden. He used Saudi people
Osama bin Laden
for one main purpose, is to destroy this relation, to destroy the American-Saudi relation. That's the purpose of 9/11. So whoever buying that, that means they are helping Osama bin Laden's purpose of destroying this relation. He knows that strong relation between America and Saudi Arabia, it's bad for extremism, it's bad for terrorism. And we have to...
What? That's so fun. Yeah, no, definitely. The strong relationship between Saudi Arabia and America is bad for extremism. What do you mean? It's a collaborative partnership. That's literally ISIS. That's Al-Qaeda. It's the greatest collab of all time, if you will. It is what has destroyed the entire region. I cannot believe this man had the audacity, dude. Are you kidding me? Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. Holy moly. Bro, is this cheap Target decoration in the back shining in a weird way? No, it's not. It's not cheap Target decoration. Dummies.
Ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. Andrew Weissman, I hear. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, zero, no money to me. But he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it now?
I think the license should be taken away from ABC because your news is so fake and it's so wrong. And we have a great commissioner, the chairman, who should look at that, because I think when you come in and when you're 97% negative to Trump and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible and you're not credible as a reporter. So I've answered your question. You should go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, who spent their time. Larry Summers was with him all the time. That creep of the fund guy was with him all the time. What's his name? Who? Reid Hoffman. I don't know Reid Hoffman, but I know he spends a lot of money on the radical left. Reid Hoffman, in my opinion, should be under investigation. He's a sleazebag. And those are the people, but they don't get any press, they don't get any news, and you're not after the radical left because you're a radical left network. But I think the way you ask the question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You ought to go back and learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you. Who else has a question?
This is who you're fighting for. This is who Congress is fighting for. This is who the House of Representatives are fighting for.
This was me at 14 years old.
I was 16.
16.
14. Only 14.
At 17 years old.
They came to Capitol Hill with searing testimony, the center of this story.
What's the message today, do you think?
It's going to be a powerful one.
To the President of the United States of America, who is not here today, I want to send a clear message to you. I am traumatized. I am not stupid.
It could be your daughter. It could be your niece. It could be a friend's kids.
You didn't just make a small dent.
This jacket? What?
You're gonna buy more stuff?
Yeah, I'm wearing it right now.
You made a monumental impact.
Survivors of Jeffrey Epstein told their stories against a shifting political backdrop. Listen to the friend turned enemy of Donald Trump, the MAGA loyalist he now calls traitor.
He called me a traitor for standing with these women and refusing to take my name off the discharge petition. Let me tell you what a traitor is. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. A patriot is an American that serves the United States of America and Americans like the women standing behind me.
On a landmark day at Congress, the president was confounded outside and inside. This was the vote Donald Trump had long resisted. Republicans from his party backed a near unanimous vote to release the Epstein files. Across Washington, Donald Trump was welcoming Mohammed bin Salman, the Saudi crown prince. If the Epstein vote was something he didn't want to see, it was the question he didn't want to hear.
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched, or somebody psychs you over at ABC, they're gonna psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey.
All right, we're flipping it back. We're flipping it over. All right, to the main ingest. Boom. Hasan Reaction is one of the best ones in the React channel.